See if I can remember even how to run a meeting. It's been a while. Good morning. I want to welcome everybody to the Williamson County Board of Commissioners regularly scheduled monthly meeting. Today is August 12th, Tuesday, August 4th, 2025. It's 10 a.m. in the morning. Roll call, please.
Tim Matheson.
Present.
Jim Marlowe.
Present.
Jim Razor.
This time, I would ask everybody to rise while we say the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Razor, would you lead us in prayer? Thank you.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this warm day. We thank you for all the blessings you provide to us each and every day, especially the ones we take for granted. I ask that you be with everyone in this room today and always stand beside our first responders and our armed forces are scattered all over the globe so that we can stay safe here in the greatest nation. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right. I did have a question on this, on our first minutes and the report. We do not have that listed as consent agenda. And Rhett, my question was, can we approve that as a consent agenda or do we need to go through this separately?
This is all the listed minutes,
Yeah,
approval of all of them? Or what?
yeah.
That's what I'm a
Well,
little confused about on the executive session, on the executive session minutes. Are those all the ones that you're opening?
Those are the ones that we're voting to keep closed.
Okay. So I think you could do a lump motion that says that somebody moves to keep the executive session minutes listed on the agenda as closed, and you would be fine.
Okay, I'll make that motion that we keep the executive session minutes closed as listed in the agenda. Is there a second?
Seconded.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Tim Matheson.
Yeah.
Jim Marlowe.
Yeah.
Jim Razor.
Yeah.
And the reports, we'd have to do the reports separate too.
Yes.
So a motion to approve the agenda. Did you guys have the opportunity to look at the
Yes.
reports first? Anything we're concerned about or need to look at? Is there a motion to approve the reports?
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Tim Matheson.
Yay.
Jim Marlowe.
Yeah.
Jim Razor.
Jay.
All right, let's move down to Highway Department. George, you're right.
Yes. Thank you so much for your time. First of all, I have a ITech project, traffic enhancement program that we were successful receiving through IDOT. It is a bike trail along Wolf Creek Road that connects the Carterville section to the lake. So that there again, that's ITech, which is 80/20. And this would just be for the preliminary engineering, the design of the project. We already have a resolution. I should have printed that out for you guys, but we already have a resolution. So this is just a signature, the agreement, the ownership that's not the preliminary. It should be a basic 8-foot trail, walking, biking on the east side of.
So is this different than the Crab Orchard Greenway?
It connects the Crab Orchard Greenway, but it's different, yes, sir.
So when that goes across the lake, is that just going to be part of that bridge that currently we have, which will make a 5-lane?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's going to be painted.
This section today, you're talking about from south from 13 to the refuge. Is that correct?
Yes, to Old 13.
And is there any connection inside the refuge or is it use existing roadways?
Well, we're going to connect all of that with the newest grant that the federal government has given us.
So there will be new construction through the refuge?
New construction and very little new construction. It'll be on existing roads and paths, but it'll all be built up to code.
You have some plans and drawings on that?
You know, we do not at this point, so we're still in what we call phase one, which would be an environmental and studying paths, critical paths of the trail. That being said, we do have a lot of that done. We have the survey information. So we know the most economical path, the closest paths, which sometimes they overlap, and sometimes they don't. So we could definitely get something together of our ideas for the design.
What that might look like. when we-
Yes, absolutely.
This is a partnership between you and
Partnership between us and
Fish and
Fish and Wildlife. Yes, sir. Very looking forward to it.
right, that's gonna be really nice. That's
It's gonna be,
uh,
yeah, it's gonna be very nice.
Right.
Yeah.
Excellent. So this
It's gonna
thing,
bring a lot of work to our area too.
And I think to add on that, when it's done, this is a project I actually am very excited
That's
about.
great.
And I know it's years away.
Yeah.
To get through the refuge and such, but
Yeah.
this is the sort of thing from my past, I know the folks that will use this type
Mhm.
of facility, and this will draw people to Williamson County. Not
Absolutely.
just from adjacent counties, but from other states.
Absolutely.
This is a good deal.
And just so we know, the county does not intend spending any of its local dollars. The federal government's paying for this. Matter of fact, we're administering it. So we tend to actually get reimbursed for our salaries. So I mean, it's a great deal for it really is.
right.
Yeah.
This little bit of business that we have for you today, the engineering service
Yes,
agreement
sir.
for Crab Orchard Green. Tell us a little bit about this.
So this section is just on the east side of Wolf Creek Road. It's really not that big of a section. It connects Old 13 with New 13. And we already have the bike trail north of New 13 along the frontage road, so it's going to connect that system.
Excellent.
Yes. People now use it, but there's not a designated, it's an on-road path. So this will be an off.
What's the cost of this one, Dave?
It's approximately $1 million to build it. Yeah. So the design is approximately 10% of that. We just throw a number out there, but it is what it is. But 10% of that, it's $100,000. So we'll be responsible for 20%.
20% of the 100?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
So we've resolved 20,000.
Yeah. What's this approved? Do we have construction timeline on that?
We do not. So the federal preliminary engineering reimbursement system is very cumbersome. Believe it or not, two agreements have this agreement along with what we call a federal aid agreement or a joint agreement between us and FHWA has to go to IDOT and get signed by several folks. Believe it or not, it takes about.
Yeah.
So by the time we get that approved and we can start work, and it takes them about a half a year to design it. We could be very easily looking at 2 summers for construction. But I think that will align quite properly with some of the construction that's going on in Refuge. And like I said, it's not imminent. We have an on-road path now that folks will use.
Good. Thank you. Is there a motion to approve this engineering service agreement?
Make a motion that we approve the engineering service agreement for the Crab Orchard Greenway.
Second.
All right, roll call, please.
Tim Matheson.
Aye.
Jim Marlowe.
Yeah.
Jim Razor.
And you'll give us an update on roundabouts?
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be
For the
great.
record.
So we have most of the concrete paving on the Crenshaw Skyline. Most of our work is still in the northeast, or on the east leg of it. But we're coming along quite nicely. And we were supposed to be done Friday. We started with lots of problems. First of all, we had the wettest spring that I can remember. I don't know that it was the wettest spring, but it was the wettest spring I can remember. And that didn't help a thing. And then we had some utility issues. long story short, we're certain that by next Friday, the trapped.
Yeah. That was a tough spot, and that was
Tough
already,
spot,
it was already wet.
already.
There was a lot of water in
Yes.
that area.
A lot of water in that area. It took a lot of work to de-water it initially. And not to mention something really, really odd, when whoever filled that area to the north up just used large chunks of concrete like the size of these desks. And so when we relocated the water line, they just found it. You know, they were trenching and what in the world is this? You know, so I mean, what should have took an afternoon took days. But those are all excuses. We don't have those. I figure 5-day extension on the completion date isn't.
No, it's not that.
We've been in contact with the schools, buses, EMS, something we can run. But hopefully Friday, weather permitting. But there again, concrete, we can pour it anytime. So, I foresee it being.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Anybody else, do you have anything else for George today? Thank you, George, appreciate it.
Thank you, Jim.
Moving on down the agenda, old business. We have an ordinance to opt out of property tax incentives under House Bill 2621, affordable rental housing property tax program. And I did have some questions about this, and Brad, I think you answered those questions pretty well in the email that you sent us today. Does anybody have anything that they'd like to talk about with this bill, this ordinance?
I think this one comes at me at least from two different directions. I think we can all sit here and say we need more housing. Theoretically would make it easier to get some housing. But I think I'm more impacted by, this would be another place where we could give one group preferential tax treatment while we continue to have people sitting in these seats telling us their taxes are going up too fast. If we give someone else preferential treatment, even if it's with best intentions, shifts that burden again.
Somebody else is gonna have to pay that.
I'm just
tax.
not comfortable doing that at all. But I do get the other side, but I can't get there. I think the strength of this argument for me is we can't pass taxes from development back to taxpayers again.
And initially, the reason why I wanted to put a hold on this last time was that I was thinking, this, in some ways, it does make sense to try to update these properties. And on the other hand, once you see that start shifting, those tax numbers start shifting away from those properties that are still earning an income to people that are already overburdened by these taxes. I can't get there. What I do like about this, though, we can, in the future, change our mind and opt back in. So today doesn't, in my mind, doesn't end it for us, we can come back. If we can ever see a day when the state decides they're gonna do real property tax relief, then we can opt back in.
And at least us in a position that a developer can come before the board or any one of us individually and say, hey, here's what I've got.
Yeah.
If I can do this, can you help me? At least then we have a discussion and it's not just a blanket open.
Right.
Well, that's where I said.
Good transaction. So Red, I want to be right on this so that we get this done correctly. This is going to be an opt-out of both of those programs.
Correct.
And this ordinance, we're going to pass this ordinance that will opt us out of that.
Correct.
And that's all that we need to do here.
Yeah, the only thing, and maybe Josh knows if anybody has attempted to take this credit in play. Anybody that does prior to you guys passing this ordinance still retains that reduction, so to speak. So, I mean, it's almost like spot tipping. Tipping, you gotta do on an entire area. This would allow a developer within maybe a prominent area that wouldn't qualify for a TIF would, but I understand all the arguments that you have.
Okay, is there a motion to accept this ordinance?
Make a motion that how would we phrase that? Approval of opting out.
No, just
Or just
approve
approval
ordinance
of the ordinance.
2508,
Okay.
1205.
Okay, approval of the ordinance number 2508, 1205.
I'll second.
Okay, does anybody have anything else to say?
I will add, I'm sorry, I did talk to people about this, at our area five meeting on Wednesday. And like you guys said before, it's mostly for Collin counties. Mark Armstrong said that 7 different people had, turned in, applications in his county, and none of them followed the guidelines to actually get the incentives. He said it's just another, like you said, a tax shift. And that was his opinion on whether that's good or bad, but once, somebody does turn in an application for this, we're in, we can't get out, so, and nobody has to this point. I have given out one, but they haven't returned it, so once we opt out, we're out until.
And if they return it, it has to follow the guidelines.
Right, but if they turn it in after you guys, after today, then it's, yeah, we don't have to accept it.
Mr. Tippy,
So I just want to be clear, so you were saying you're not going to approve this with the no property tax, correct? What you're voting on is you're going to opt out of this program and not do the,
and not offer that property tax relief for housing developments
Okay.
that are privately owned, that are over 7 units.
now, my second part of that is as a contractor or whatever, so I'm clear, if they was to build low-income housing, can they still get the new construction opt out for so many years on the taxes, or how does that work?
Is that part of this same plan program, Josh, do you know? Because I'm not aware of what he's talking about. on that one.
So I'll give you an example. As an individual, if I add a garage onto my property, so I can come in, I can sign in and get X number of years where I'm not taxed on
Oh,
it.
you're talking about like a home improvement,
home
like a.
improvement.
Yeah, home improvement,
$75,000.
or new construction or home improvements. They have to permanently live in there, right?
Right, you have to be- Has to be your permanent
Has to be a
residence.
resident.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And it's up to $75,000, I think it's for 5 years, right?
Correct.
And then at
Or
the end of
4
that.
years, yeah.
And I think Josh actually would provide an assessment of the property, but you at that point, once it went on.
Yeah, that doesn't apply to like any new structure being built or, yeah.
Now, so what this does is if you have housing apartments, there are seven units or more, you can ask for this. And then, but you have to improve those apartments and they have to be percentages of low income. And then you have to show that the property is at the lowest rental cost in your area. So there's a lot of different things that you have to do on this. And then what that does, that abates a certain proportion of those taxes. Well, and the reason I think this board is not going with this is because those properties will continue to earn income. And those low income rent, they still earn income. And they're not paying their weight in taxes. They're not paying their share in taxes. Okay, so did that get everybody's questions on this? Okay, so we have the motion to approve ordinance, to approve this ordinance. Do we have a second? Anything else? Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Yay.
Jim Marlowe.
Yay.
Jim Brazen.
Okay. Does anybody have anything else for old business? Okay, hearing nothing, we'll move on down to new business. Our animal control warden, Kevin Harris he's leaving the county. He's going to go and has gotten another job. And he's given us his resignation. And I believe his last day working will be August 22nd. And I think we have to approve this. Don't we have to accept this letter of resignation? Okay, so I know you guys have talked with Kevin. I've talked with Kevin. Does anybody have any questions about this letter of resignation? If not, entertain a motion to approve this resignation.
The only thing I have is on the, just want to make sure on the vacation days for this portion, would that be prorated vacation time that he has? Paid out.
So I've not checked with Julie to see what vacation time he has on the books. I think your approval is the approval of his resignation, not the details of what he purports
You'll still have to live up to our employee
to
handbook.
be, to be in here. So if he would have said, I've got 1,000 hours, sure, we're not agreeing that he has 1,000 hours. We're just agreeing that we're accepting.
Well, I just wanted to make sure.
So your motion would be to accept his resignation, not the details.
There's no other questions. I'll make the motion that we accept his resignation letter. Kevin Harris as the animal controller. I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Tim Matheson.
Yeah.
Jim Marlowe.
Yeah.
Jim Razor.
Okay, with that comes the next item on the agenda, the animal control job. And gentlemen, I would ask that we would get this job posted as quick as we can. In my conversation with Kevin, he will be more than happy to work with any individual he can find that will take over for him out there, show them what needs to be done. I asked him to give us a list of his duties that will be required of that person that replaces him, and that's included in here. What are your thoughts, guys? What do you think?
To your initial statement, it would seem to get someone that he can work with, we would need to hire them and have them in place in 10 days.
It's a tall order.
I don't even know that that's possible.
I don't think it is.
So I think your second issue that comes with this is if you can't have somebody hired, then who is the interim? Right, supervisor that's going to run the show while he's out.
Yeah. And I've not talked with employees out there to find out if any of them would be willing to do that. I thought we would see what our thoughts were on finding a replacement. And I'd like to get this job posted as quick as possible.
I agree with all of the as fast as possible.
Yeah.
I just don't think we can have anybody in.
I know. I hope we might be able to find somebody might reply really quickly. And I think what we should do is post this job. And then as applications come in, it'll be properly. And then I will, in the meantime, I'll talk to the employees out there and find out if anybody will be interested.
But is there a legal minimum, how long the posting has to go?
There's not. I think one of the things that's missing from this is whether or not there's going to be a residency requirement. I know you guys, your department is one of the higher paid animal control departments throughout Southern Illinois. There's a lot of turnover within those departments right now, usually because of a low wage element. So I think you will have some interest from outside potentially of the county. So I think it's fair that you guys do define that expectation. I don't know at what level that one rises as to within 6 or has to, or. But I think the posting on it, that will, you're correct, in 2 weeks is really ambitious unless it's an internal candidate, because just the common courtesy of 2 weeks notice to your existing employer puts you over the time frame.
And while you bring the topic of residency up, my opinion, this has to be a resident, just
Yeah.
because of the on-call factor with this one.
Correct.
I mean, we've been a little more lenient in some departments where we really needed to be, but whoever this person is, they need to be in county.
Right.
I can see giving them, I think we have like a timeline, 6 months or whatever, within a year, okay, someplace.
Yeah, it would need to be quicker than what we did
It would
one of
need
the
to be
other
quicker.
positions.
Right. And the contract would have to stay there.
I agree.
And they were strong enough language to enforce it.
This would be,
Yeah.
So we can get it posted today, I would assume.
Right.
I think so.
With the residency now, we don't need on that posting, we don't need to say the time limit.
You put a salary range.
We put a salary
Your
range.
time limit would be until filled.
Mhm.
So then that way, if you get resumes instantaneous and you say, hey, I like this and I don't need to look anymore, then you've met your obligations.
So we're going to accept email applications.
Yeah.
That's your,
Speed up the process.
And we'll have all those returned to Stephanie.
Yes.
you need to put down a salary range.
Yeah, I know.
It's that, well, it's the new law. It's
Yeah.
the transparent to prevent somebody from discriminating against somebody else somehow, some way. So that is the requirement now, is that you do have to post it with a dollar.
You have thoughts on salary range?
What's Kevin in it?
Huh?
What's Kevin in it?
He would be,
About him.
he would be like mid-60s.
And if we're coming back right where we are, I mean, that's what we have budgeted, a little different than the free world, in that we have a budget, we set it up. We can negotiate in the contract, we can write higher, what the second year might be. As far as the hiring rate, I think it needs to be so.
So up to what Kevin's making now. Are you good with that? Up to, we can get that.
Yeah, correct. I do have someone in mind that has that experience specifically.
And I believe that we'll get some pretty quick responses on
Yeah,
this.
and see what comes in.
So are we okay saying that the pay will be up to
I'd say that would
what Kevin's making now? I don't want to nail us completely down in that, because if he finds that he doesn't have as much experience.
keep it up to, yeah. That is.
Okay? Brett, does that answer all the questions we need to answer now?
I think so.
Okay, perfect. Do you need any kind of list on that, Brett, for what the duties would be for this position?
I think he's got it listed as well as we have it in his contract.
Okay. All right. Next on the agenda is the fireworks permit for Walker's Bluff Casino. And Brett, I looked through this, it looked good to me, but I'm not even kind of,
No, everything on the application is fine. They've detailed their safety plan. The only thing we're lacking is the same as that we had over in Carterville for the other. I don't know who the fire service is that covers that. I'm assuming Walker's Bluff is probably the same. So it'll be on the day of.
right, the inspection day of it. And so we would approve this contingent on that.
Same as we did for the one.
Yeah.
Whatever that was. That would go fine.
Yeah, I did the site safety inspection the morning of. He had it all lined out, everything ready to go. I signed off on it. and submitted it.
Quincy County would do Walker's Bluff, wouldn't it?
Yes, sir. As long as it's on the casino side. If
Right.
it's on the venue side where the wine cave and the Legends, that's actually Jackson County and that would be so.
I think they'd have to go to Jackson County for everything.
Correct. I'm saying if it's the casino, that's definitely in Williamson County.
This is supposed to be a celebration. casinos.
Anniversary.
So then that would be waived.
Fred, I did have one question, just because I like to ask questions. Sure. So on the sheet, fireworks event information.
Yep.
The line about halfway down to the type of fireworks, and there's 1.4G, 1.3G, and then a both.
Yes,
And it checks 1.3.
yes.
Then if I flip back to the proposal, the main event, the very first thing listed is a 1.4G. I don't know what any of that means. And I want to make sure it's not a problem.
My limited knowledge of fireworks is that's grams.
I would guess grams of
And then I know that you can buy from a consumer standpoint, anything under, I think, a 50-gram firework in Illinois without an official license. 500 grams. 500 grams.
Those are
500
the
grams.
size of the mortar charges. They
Right. But does it matter that on one sheet they say they're not doing 1.4, and on another sheet they say they are? I guess that's what I'm asking.
So in my opinion, my humble opinion, it does, because one requires a permit, the other doesn't. One requires, a license for pyrotechnics, and the other is.
Well, the 1.3 and the 1.4 both would require a license.
Are they both within the limit?
Right, if they had just checked both, I wouldn't even have.
I understand.
Yeah, they.
I mean, we can certainly ask for the clarification. That was more. This one has a lot more detail in it than I ever have seen as far as
Yeah.
the lift time and the duration of the display. And
Why did it-
it was really neat as far as reading through some of that. But I couldn't tell you.
And that part of it may not even pertain to what we're approving. I just wanted to make sure we're not making mistakes.
And that may have been an oversight.
Well, I guess I would put it this way, that if he would have checked 1.4, we would have approved it. If he would have checked 1.3, we would have approved it. If he would have checked both, we would have approved it. So the fact that it's 1.4 or 1.3 in there doesn't bother me. Now, if it was 2.7 that he had listed in the narrative, and we don't have that as an option, then I would have said, what are we dealing with? But that's my logical mind. It's just scary, so don't put it in my mind. But we can certainly ask for that clarification if you.
Okay, is there a motion to approve this?
So do we need to approve this contingent?
Contingent on
Yeah.
the final inspection of
Okay.
Williamson County Fire Department.
All right, so then I will make that motion that we approve the fireworks permit for Walker's Bluff Casino contingent that it does get approved by the Williamson County Fire Department, and that the clarification that it's straightened.
And for a display date of August 22. Correct?
Yeah.
Second that.
Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Yeah.
Jim Harlow.
Yeah,
Jim Riser.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Mr. Atkinson?
Yes, sir.
You wish me to contact the fire district to make them aware that you approved this?
Yeah.
And that pending their inspection?
Right.
Take care of it.
Would you reach out to, I'll give you the contact name, would you reach out to the person that's going to set this off and check his license to make sure that he has license for 1.4 and 1.3 that's needed?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll make sure you get that information. Thank you. Does anybody have anything for new business? All right, moving on down to resolutions. This is the Second Amendment and restated intergovernmental agreement, economic development agreement between Redco and several of the towns and villages here in Williamson County, Garrett County Board. And a year ago, they paid off their debt, which we have been paying our portion of that in an increased amount of money paid to Redco. And since that debt has been paid off, that amount of money we're going to pay Redco is going to drop. And that is essentially what this intergovernmental agreement states, is that we've gone down now to the 23% of Redco's annual budget. Do you guys have an opportunity to read through this resolution? Do you have any questions? If you do, I'll do my best to answer them. Like, this is pretty standard stuff. And along with that, I actually got the bill for our second quarterly payment for August 2025. And it's at $2,356, which will be payments going forward to them. So that's, I mean, it still is money, and it still is a lot of money, but the amount of money we use to support Redco and all the things that they do is really, I think we get our money's worth out of that.
Just look at ICE.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And Redco's eager to help all of the towns in Williamson County. And I know we're working with this stuff in Johnson City, hopefully we can find some.
I think they got a great board too.
It's an excellent board of minds. And so I fully support Kelly and everything that he does out there.
Fortunate to sit through a recent meeting where they approved the rewriting of bylaws and kind of a restructuring of the whole organization. Now that the NOC is gone, and how they can be more aggressive in other ways. And it just all sounded so good for Williamson County.
Yeah.
There is that group still working to bring in industry.
Sure.
Yes.
Great.
Now, they're working hard at it, and I appreciate their efforts. All right, is there a motion to approve this resolution?
So I'll make a motion that we approve resolution number 25-08-12-62, the second amendment, to restated intergovernmental economic development agreement.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Tim Matheson.
Okay.
Jim Marlowe.
Yeah.
Jim Reese.
And I did send this, this was budgeted, this was a budgeted amount for us to bring Redco. And I sent this to Stephanie today to write up a claim to pay our August dues to them. That doesn't need board approval, we approve that in the budget. Okay, moving on down. We have this report from ROE, and you'd like to talk to us for a minute or two.
We're just sitting. So I'll give you guys each annual report. So just a couple of highlights within there. Just building on student support services, we created and launched the AWOP program, the Alternative Learning Opportunities Program that I talked about last year. Had a great first year of success. We served 450 students. We were in 13 schools. We've expanded to 16 schools this year, and now we have 18 AWOP staff. So that's going really well. We were able to strengthen and expand the Echo Alternative School and Southwest Regional Safe School programs with increased staff and funding for kids who have some behavioral and academic challenges, with assisted reading support, student support teacher. First, we have our school social worker and the school psychologist that we employ through Stress and Trauma Center. And then our Partners Against Chronic Truancy program, again, increasing staff of that program along with grant funding, where we're able to support our students and families in addressing student attendance. Let's see. We've elevated our professional learning. This year alone, we hosted over 211 trainings, and we served over 5,700 educators, administrators. And when you kind of put that into perspective, that's pretty much every day of the year. Not only at the training center, but we're out in our schools as well. And so sometimes we're hosting 2 to 3 trainings per day. And we've served, like I said, 5,700 educators. We only have 2,300 employees in our 21. So we're getting a lot of good feedback and opportunity for training educators and that building success. And then let's see, increased community engagement. So we hosted our 2nd annual career fair. We're sending out our press release, getting the 3rd annual career fair planning. It's already been going on since early in the spring. We hosted our 2nd annual brain games. So we're bringing students together and they do a lot of STEM activities. And our spelling bee, we did that for the first time this year. So those, and then along with 34 community engagement activities with our AWOP programs within those communities. Oh, let's see. Last week, we hosted our annual back to school administrators meeting, we had over 150 administrators. They're emphasizing the commitment of the ROE to support our schools through our mission, of building capacity of learners to grow, educators to teach, and leaders to lead, and districts to improve. And then with that, yesterday we hosted our ROE 21 staff meeting, and we launched this year's theme of rooted in purpose and growing together. So we're consistently in growth mode. We get exhausted. We love it. And then just last thing, just making you aware that I am up for re-election as well. So just so you know, I will be launching my re-election campaign. So I do appreciate your support. But with that, just letting you know that that is there. At this time, I don't have any competitors. Fingers crossed, but we don't have minutes. But do you have any questions?
No, this is really nice.
Okay, thank you.
This program, very, very nice. Yeah. How's everything else going?
Everything's going well. I would like to give you just a letter, just basically outlining a couple of things that we'd like to have done with the building. It shouldn't be too much, just a couple of basics. The parking lot, it's getting some pretty big ruts, and it'll probably get worse over the winter. We're getting less. Not one of these? No. Oh, okay. Second. Anyway, we don't need to go through that, but if you would, just take a look at those, and if we're able to get that done, the AED machine, we can purchase that if needed, and then I could reimburse us, that would be great. If not, I'll just be like, feel like it's something I have to have.
We take a look at these things. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. Josh or Ryan, you have anything you want to address us with?
I have a couple things. Just wanted to bring the board up to speed that the resolution that you passed at the last board meeting for the IASMA master agreement has been accepted by the Illinois Emergency Management Association. So we are in full partnership with them for any assets that we request on their behalf.
And I truly hope we don't have to use it.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. I just wanted to make the other partners aware that the LEPC, which is our local emergency planning committee, has revised our chemical emergency response plan. It was a huge undertaking since the county board chair was named in the plan. I've reviewed it with Commissioner Atkinson. We spent some time reviewing the plan. It is now complete and it's been submitted to the State Emergency Operations Center for consideration. Once it is accepted by the State Emergency Operations Center, then we will communicate, we'll make copies available to all of our emergency response partners, to all of our fixed facility operators, and then we will have a redacted copy of the plan available for public access on our website. The only thing that will be redacted will be contact phone numbers, and some of our sensitive area locations will be redacted from the plan as well. But there will be public access for that plan moving forward.
Let me just say this before you go. You had nothing, really nothing to work with to put that together. And the booklet, the folder that he gave me was incredibly detailed. It was an immense amount of work. And that is something that we've been required to have for some time. And he's taken it on himself to get this done. And it's a serious piece of work, and it's important our area has that. So I know just publicly, I appreciate the fact that you've done that, you took the initiative, and you're building that office just like we hoped you would.
Thank you for the kind word. I wanted to bring you guys up to speed on the May 16th tornado. I don't know if you had an opportunity to visit the site down there, but for the most part, the large pieces of work are done. So a lot of the deconstruction has been done. A lot of the removal and demolition has been done. We have worked with a lot of the homeowners. I want to give a public shout out and to share with the board some really good work that our long-term recovery committee has done. What ended up being born out of this event was something that we had looked forward to. I had discussed with all of you about forming the Southern Illinois community organizations active in disaster. They're called COADs. And what we've done with our COAD is we formed a long-term recovery committee. And what happened was when our community partners such as Little Nashville and the Rotary and Lions Club and Salvation Army and all of these agencies who had donor dollars and donor materials, they would call my office and say, can I get a list of everybody who is affected so that we can get these donors' items into their hands? Well, that's in a violation of their privacy. I can't just hand out who was affected. So what we ended up doing through our COAD is we formed a long-term recovery committee. And what that committee was tasked with was accepting applications for assistance with donor dollars, donor labor, or donor materials. And we processed through those applications and we matched those requests with those applications. We are starting to see the end. Eventually I will have a report for you guys that'll tell you how many dollars were donated either in labor or in materials or within the actual donor dollars. Once we come to the very tail end of this committee, but I'm particularly excited about the framework that we've established because our regional COAD will encompass 5 counties initially, and the idea is to grow it basically to the whole southern tip. So the work that we've done here will then be reflected in future disasters where that COAD impacts in other counties moving forward. Couple of the highlights that I will tell you is we've done a lot of work with helping to impact homeowners with high deductibles. A lot of times when you recently have engaged insurance, they're no longer fixed $1,000, $500, $1,500 deductibles. They're percentages of build-back costs. People were looking at $3,500, $4,200 deductibles. Those were pretty significant burdens for homeowners. So we've been able to impact them by paying half of their deductibles, portions of their deductibles. One of the applications that we saw had $3,500 deductible for their home and $1,000 deductibles for all 3 of their vehicles. And it said very clearly on their application, hey, we've got a nest egg. We planned for a rainy day, but we didn't plan for the day where my home and all 3 cars were destroyed at the same time. So it's a difference between paying $3,500 and $6,500 in all of the deductibles. So the long-term recovery committee was able to assist them with making, we paid half of out of the $6,500, we paid half of the deductibles. So our community partners right now are the Southern Illinois Community Foundation, who has donor dollars from the Nashville event and also from the Marion Connects. And then we had Rotary that has brought in $125,000 grant so far, and the Lions Club has brought in a $10,000 grant that we've been able to impact. The other story I care to share with you right now is we do have one family who is significantly impacted, no insurance whatsoever. Disabled father, mother is caring for the disabled father. They've had to make a choice between insurance and medical care and all this other stuff, so they let their homeowners insurance go. Significant damage to their roof, broken window, so forth and so on. The Rotary has that $25,000 grant. We have been able to work with Smith, what's the lumberyard in here? Southside, sorry. We've been able to work with a vendor to purchase materials at cost, and then we're connecting with what they call Kingdom Builders out of Tuscola. They're Mennonites, to have a construction crew come down, and then we'll have the repairs done to our home with all $100 and done. So that's one of when that's completely done, I'll share that with the board as well. But that's the kind of things this long-term recovery committee is doing to further assist our community during their impacted times. Our biggest challenge right now in the area is dealing with the vegetative debris and the vegetative removal. And we've looked at several solutions, and I know George and I have talked about, we've got one that's potentially going to impact a public right-of-way and a public waterway. We're looking for solutions for that. We're not finding a whole lot of them because we're looking at logging companies, and logging companies are quoting $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 to come in with the equipment that they need to make the impact in that forested area. And it's just beyond, you know, the individual homeowners' capacities, and it's beyond even public dollars or even donor dollars. So when you ask me what is the largest impact where we stand right now, that's our biggest challenge. And I know George and I had chatted yesterday via email. We're going to look for other solutions. We're going to potentially engage. I think you said the state, and I sent a request up through IEMA, and it basically ended up nowhere. So that's going to be where we're going to continue to just keep looking for possible solutions. Lastly, I wanted to thank the board for granting the EMA office the opportunity to use the Ross building as our new headquarters. I've talked to my staff, and it is our intentions to fully occupy that structure by the end of the year. There is some minor renovation work that we will take on ourselves, just clean it up and bringing things up to where it's comfortable for us to be in there. So we will take on that. The only request I had is I wish to have some direction about how to furnish that building. We do have the conference table, conference room. We do have the training room upstairs, the furniture in our offices. And I had spoke to several individually, but I kind of wanted direction from the board as to where you guys want me to go with, furnishing that.
Can you put something together for us on what you would like to have?
Put
That way we
a
can,
proposal together.
so we can kind of visualize what you're looking for.
Okay.
And then we can come back to you.
I will do that, sir. I just wanted direction, so that is exactly what I wanted. So I'll put a proposal together for what we requested, and I'll submit that as soon as I have that.
Absolutely. You got computers and all that?
Yes, sir. It would just literally be furniture. And one of the discussions that I'd had was moving it from here to there is going to increase the opportunity for it to be broken or damaged. And you're obviously going to repurpose the offices here, so the furniture staying here would necessarily be a problem. So if we can retool that, I'm looking at used furniture, so I'm not just looking for major expenditures. Okay.
All right.
All right. So I will work on that, and as soon as that's available, I'll send it to you guys for consideration.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Josh, did you have anything to talk about?
I just had something real quick.
Mr. Tiki, I promise you next.
And it kind of deals with what he was just talking about. I just wanted to let you guys know that the field staff has completed the work for the tornado damage. We got all the cards pulled together, and I'll have to go through them and reevaluate, but all that work has been done. So I just wanted to let you guys know.
Thank you, Josh. Mr. Tiki?
I just want a couple things. I want to formally thank Commissioner Marlowe and George. They came out for subdivision and went through and assessed the roads and saw some of our concerns. And George got back to me yesterday morning kind of with a plan of what they're going to do with Cobb Hill Road and Sulphur Springs and into our subdivision. And I shared that at our neighborhood association meeting last night. There was some excitement, some good news. There was a couple concerns. I think two of the biggest concerns are we have a couple of collapsed culverts. And I know, George, when you saw that one, I mean, they did dump road pack or whatever down in it to temporarily fix it. Well, it's sinking again. It's been that way since June. And there's concern in the neighborhood with grandchildren riding their bicycles and stuff. They hit that hole and they get hurt. Who's liable? At the end of the day, I know it's scheduled for 2 weeks, but the consensus of our neighborhood association was that's not soon enough. It's been that way since June. So I would ask, I don't know. I know, George, you had mentioned to me as well that when you was with the state, that when you saw something like that, the road was immediately shut down and fixed because it could collapse. God forbid if the garbage truck comes through tomorrow and it goes down through there, guy riding on the back, So I would just ask for some urgency to fix it sooner than 2 weeks. Because what we've also seen is our culvert at our main entrance into our subdivision. It has been collapsed for 2 years and still not fixed.
No.
Now, I thought you said it was temporarily fixed, right?
No.
I misunderstood.
The utilities drilled through it.
Yes, that's right.
Utilities drilled through it and compromised the off-road
Yeah.
portion of it.
Yeah, that's right.
So
we have
I mean,
that. It's way down in there.
it still moves water.
Yeah, it's still moving, but it's just,
But
it's dipping way
the
down.
problem with that one is it's the only entrance
Right.
into the community.
Right.
So when we fix it, you guys
Right.
might not have any.
Right, which I told them, rest assured, that would be sometime later fall, because
Yeah.
then there's less
Yeah.
You have to
traffic.
replace the whole culvert, George.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
Which-
it'd be
which
hard to
utility?
stage it.
Which utility?
You know, I am not sure. I'm thinking it was water.
I think it was a
I'm not
fiber optics
100%
guy.
sure.
I think-
Was it fiber?
I think it was a
Okay.
fiber
Okay.
optics when
Did
they
they have
started.
permits?
That it was well before my
Okay.
time, but I can certainly find out. You know, I think this is something that it was at least 2 years.
Yeah.
But I can find out. And I'm sure that there was a permit and the process was looked into, but
Did the county accept that subdivision road?
yes,
Okay,
yes.
so it's a county road?
It is county minutes. Yeah.
What road again?
I'm not sure. The big culvert that we're talking about coming into your subdivision.
Something Shore Drive. It's Sulphur Springs, and then I think it turns to
Yeah,
Lake. Well, no, Lake Shore goes back in. I think it's still part of Sulphur.
Still partial.
I think it is. It goes up over the hill and goes back into another
I
subdivision.
wasn't sure which name that had. Because I know Google Maps actually has it incorrect compared to our maps. So, but long story short, we do have intentions of fixing that, obviously, in the fall and the winter when the
Right.
lake.
We talked about that would be a good
Yes,
time. That'd be a good
yes.
time.
And then maybe at night, obviously leafleting the whole neighborhood.
We'd be glad to help with that.
Yeah.
Also, don't forget, we can do that targeted messaging also.
Yes.
So the culvert is it sinking? Is that the culvert's?
The one that Mr. Titty's talking about, it's a small culvert. I mean, I seriously think it's a 1 foot diameter. So,
It's the original.
yeah, it's the
concrete
original
culverts out there in the
from
60s.
the 60s or 70s. So to your point of imminent danger, okay? So let's say that 1 foot, that 7 foot in the ground were to fail altogether. You're not going to get much footing at all at the top of the road. I mean, that's something that we can't put that as an urgent priority over 4 foot culverts that have, that the bottoms are rusted.
But it's still a liability for the county if somebody, because I mean,
there's.
they have tried to
there's
patch it.
statutes that affect
They had the Julie or whoever came out, everything's already been marked for the utilities, we're just waiting. And I know they brought that up and, we have some elderly people that ride golf carts around the community as well. So, it's just not, it needs fixed. I mean, and in 2 weeks from now I'm just the messenger here. They were not acceptable with that because it's been happening since June. I mean, it happened back in June. It was reported right away and
Say culvert's 10 feet deep.
Yeah, 6, 7 foot deep. Yeah, it's going to be a huge project
I mean, it's already from the top of the road going down.
to not help that much, Mr. Tippy, to be honest.
It's what,
It's going to be a huge amount of work to not help that much, to be honest. It flows.
to what?
It flows.
It flows, I understand it flows,
Yeah.
but that's not the concern.
Yeah.
The concern is the sinkhole and it keeps coming back. And eventually, if it's already washed out, a hole like this big around on the top, eventually is the top of the road gonna cave in and down onto the tube. And if it's down 7 feet deep or whatever it is, you guys have no clue. I don't have any clue how much it's washed out around that tube already.
Well, that's a pothole. Somebody will call us and come out and fix it.
It's not a pothole. It goes clear down into the tube. You should have seen when they were out there. They kept pouring and pouring and pouring road pack and driving over it. And then had to come back out because it sunk again. And now it's sunk again the third time. And it's already about this, maybe about this deep now. You can start to see it's going back down where it washes back out around the culvert. So it's an urgency. It has to be done. I mean, we can agree to disagree, but
That's
I
what
mean,
we'll do.
But the problem is who's liable if somebody goes off in that hole now? Kid on his bicycle and gets hurt. So we're just asking if you please I mean, there's not, I guess, the concern at the meeting was, where's the priority when you have stuff like this?
This is the first I've heard of it.
I know,
So, I mean,
you have, I know, but I talked, George and Jim both came out and we looked at it.
And let you know, George has the call on this thing. So he's the department. And George, I don't know, is it worth taking another look or not?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I just don't, what we do is we would prioritize, we did prioritize a 4-foot culvert on Greenbrier Road that has 8 times the ADT that you have. Okay, 8 times, maybe 10 times. Okay, you guys have local traffic only. You have no commercial traffic to speak of. We have
It's no sense getting upset. I'm just saying, I'm sharing with what they had said, George, is I understand, and I'm just asking where the priority is. It should be prioritized, keeping somebody from getting hurt. I mean, your own words when you was out there, when you was with the state, things would get shut down and fixed immediately.
I'm talking
Because of
about
the risks
6 or 8
involved.
foot.
But that wasn't explained to me.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
I'm not talking about a 1-foot culvert. If a
Well-
1-foot culvert collapses 7 foot in the ground, you're lucky, you're gonna be lucky to get movement. And it may cause a hole, in the pavement, but, nobody's gonna die. On a state route, you have an ADT of 4,000 cars, and the road sinks 5 foot, somebody could die. That's why we shut those
I
down.
don't disagree with any of that. I'm just saying, though, it
Yeah.
continues to keep
That
washing
is
out.
an emergency.
I just got on my hands and knees just yesterday, looked down in, you can see where it washed way back down in. And I wasn't gonna stick my hand or anything down in there, but it's down quite a bit. So it needs to be fixed. I mean, and that was their concern. And it's like, hey, if my grandkid comes off there, because there's a steep ditch off to the side of that. And if they flip their bike and they go off in that ditch and they break their neck,
Wow.
I mean, that's what, I'm just sharing with one of the comments,
It's scheduled to be fixed. Is that
Yes,
correct?
absolutely. It's on schedule. Yeah. Yeah. And I'll move it up.
To see the schedule moved up.
Not me, I'm just sharing with what the
Yeah,
neighborhood
understood.
people in our association meeting last night said, it's been this way since June. It came out located and it's still not fixed. Why does it have to wait another 2 weeks? And I said, I would express the concern today. Okay. And the last thing I had was, David had brought up in our meeting as well, is a lot of the different neighborhood associations out there take turns picking up trash along the place. And the concern came up is because along the roadways, the grass hasn't been cut for some time. I mean, some of the grass is grown to where it's at the bottom of some of the road sites. So they were wanting to know when that could be cut, because there's, people are scheduling for their neighborhood trash pickup, especially like along Cotton Hill Road and Silver Springs, a lot of people do that as well.
you're still actively mowing, aren't you?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
We're on our.
And I know that the weather's made everything go
Yeah,
crazy
no,
anyway,
it
but they
has,
were just
but-
asking if that was
But,
something.
right, we just got through with a single pass, but we're gonna mow it out again. If you were to let us know when the folks are going to, probably wanting to do something before Labor Day.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, well, we actively try to get that mowed out. Absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
that's a great cooperation.
Yeah, there's quite a few neighborhoods that do that. So
Yeah, that's great.
it goes
We really appreciate that. And we'll work with y'all. We provide trash bags and yeah, we pick up.
We work with the
pick up-
depot does, I think
Yeah.
they provide them, and stuff. and do that. Each neighborhood gets a little $50 donation.
Sure, that's great.
Okay,
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just have one other thing I'd like to talk about before we go into executive session. I have a couple of things in executive session, and we can take long for us to discuss, but I think I'd like to talk about before we go into executive is, I've had for the last about 2 months, I've had some business owners calling about their liquor license. And they're asking for a couple specific things that would help their business, help them be a little bit more successful. And so So I told him I'd bring it to you guys just to see what you thought. The first thing is, this is probably a non-starter for me, but I want to hear what your thoughts are. And all three of these pertain to the liquor license. And the first one is, I had a bar owner who says it's been very difficult for him to find employees. And one area that he's having a hard time finding employees would be for bartenders and servers to bring alcohol to the table. Now, our liquor license says that you have to be 21 to be both of those. He's asked about 19-year-old, if we can do that to 19-year-old. I'm not sure that we can do that. Brad, do you have any knowledge on that?
My understanding is that there is some options out there for somebody under 21 to serve. The details of how that comes about, I'd have to look. I know of some establishments in which that has occurred.
Okay. So what I'm asking about that one is if you think there's a chance, if there is, then I'll look into it and I'll bring you back information for that. And to see if you want to maybe make a change in the liquor license.
If Brett has the information,
Right.
we can listen.
Right. So that's one. The second one is changing on closing hour from 1:30, with everybody being out of the bar at 1:45 to 2 a.m. for weekdays, and then 3 a.m. on Fridays and Saturdays. So once again, I'd like you guys to give a little bit of consideration to that, and at a future meeting, we can talk about both of those things. And then the third thing is Sunday liquor sales. We have a golf course, and we have a few restaurants that would like to sell alcohol, like mimosas and Bloody Marys and those types of things, early on Sunday. And right now, they're not allowed to sell until after 12:30 p.m. And I'd like you guys to give some consideration to that, if that's something that you would like to see changed in the license. And I'll bring that up at a future meeting. We'll talk about that.
Did you say?
Well, if we would do it, I would recommend, what I've been asked for was 8 o'clock. That's all that I have for this part of the meeting right now. We need to go into executive.
Mr. Chairman, I have one thing we need to,
Yeah.
we missed, and I think it's just because we didn't do the consent. We need to do a formal motion to approve the minutes of July 2nd, 2025, July 8th, 2025, and July 28th. We voted to not release the executive, but we failed to vote affirmatively to approve the minutes of those three meetings.
All right, I make a motion that we approve the July 2nd, 2025, July 8th, 2025, and July 28th, 2025 minutes. Is there any second? Roll call, please.
Tim Matheson.
Yeah.
Jim Marlowe.
Yeah.
Jim Raisik.
Mr. Chairman, I'll do that one thing.
Yeah.
This past week was, I met with Gary Pearson out at the county fair, and he proposed that because of lower turnout that we had at the spring cleanup, that they would be willing to do a fall to every public services. So, I'd like to just inform the board that maybe think about any date or anything like that. Just think this would be a good idea or whatever. Speaking with Jerry, I don't think we received the.
I know we're
That
not.
was gonna be my question is, we have money that left in what we budgeted.
Yeah.
I know we've not received a bill, and I told Gary out at the fair, I said, send us a bill. He's waiting for a subcontractor to get an invoice. I said, send us your bill, and we will get you paid. And when your subcontractor finally gets around to sending you a bill, send it to us and we'll pay that one. Let's get you paid. I agree, Jim. I think that we should have a fall cleanup. And, I mean, I don't know, just assume you probably feel the same way. to some extent.
Yeah.
And, what month? Would you like to say September or October?
I think the key is advertising. We get people early October. I think that September's just right around the corner. I think it's getting. And because of the notices out there. Let's give us a little bit of time. Let's make
I think
it.
their last weekend, September, first weekend, October. I think you get the right time. for it.
Okay, so when do we plan on making a decision at the September meeting?
Say October 4th, October 11th. Same parameter, Saturday from 7. Gary is more than happy. Once again, I said the same thing here. Gary said this is good.
Right.
He's told me. Just we'll get it to that. So he's been very helpful for public services, so give them a big shout out.
Two of you, any belief that another cleanup day like that would be held with a cleanup south end of the tornado? Is there anything left in that that would benefit from?
There could potentially for some barn metal that's still laying on the ground, but anything that's in the residential lots has been addressed. This would be stuff in the right of ways and yeah, but I don't know that there's gonna be the appetite for those homeowners to pick the stuff up out of the right of ways. And remove it.
He did tell me, and I put him in touch with you.
Yes.
He did contact you about.
We did, and we discussed the pitfalls of having those dumpsters down there unsupervised. And what you guys experience when you do the cleanup is you're able to direct folks, this is metal, this is white goods, this is what we were concerned about leaving the dumpsters down there unsupervised is they would throw everything in there. And then it would be, it'd be a mess for somebody to have to take it all out of the dumpster and then sort it on the back. So it was just, it was not a, when I talked to Gary, it just, unless we supervised the dumpsters, it was not, even if we marked them, for what's supposed to go in each one, it would.
Well, and I understand that. Whenever he proposed that, I appreciate the thought, the idea, and everything behind it. On the cleanup day, it's very organized now.
Yes.
And it's all in secure spot. There's cameras everywhere, and there's plenty of help to help unload whatever we bring the stuff up. It's run very well. So I think it'd be a great idea if we could have a follow-up. So first.
Put it on the September agenda and get that approved. Has anybody had anything else for this? You have a public comment? All right, I would entertain a motion that we go into closed session to discuss internal auditor and animal control action.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Tim Matheson,
5 ILCS 122C1, and I'm gonna add 5 in there as well for property.
and you made the motion.
I mean,
Okay. Tim Matheson?
Yeah.
Jim Marlowe?
Yeah.
Jim Rose?
all right, thank you for coming in. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
How long did it take? Yes.
Thank you, Claire. You need to talk about it.
Probably. Last time I came home. I think it was-
Well, right, was Yep. All right, coming back into open after closed, it's Tuesday, August 12th, 2025, 11:48 a.m. Roll call, please.
Tim Matheson.
Present.
Jim Marlowe.
Present.
Jim Razor.
Present.
All right, does anybody have anything else for this part of this meeting today? If not, I'll entertain a motion to recess and reconvene at 1:30 p.m. for progress and payment meeting for the animal control.
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Tim Matheson.
Yay.
Jim Marlowe.
Yay.
Jim Razor.
Thank you. See you at 1:30.